video is for the overextended people, the people who do too much, the people who hesitate to give a hard no, the big-hearted, responsible people. Like, this video is for y'all. We're here. We are here, you and I. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, The Danny You Know. It's your girl Danny, back with it. I have for y'all a video on boundaries, also called Boon Diaries, to keep your PIC, your peace. So if you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. You know, if you feel the vibe here, go ahead and subscribe. But let's get into it. I have been listening to a lot of things on boundaries. I have been reading a lot of books on boundaries, and I just thought I would share with y'all some of what I've learned and some of the mentalities that had me all twisted up. First things I had to get over was this whole little savior thing. In my mind, I was like, if not me, then who? Then who? The irresponsible person will never become responsible if responsible people continue to always say yes. We all know, you can think of that friend, that family member, that coworker, that whoever that is just very irresponsible. They're last minute, they're always dropping the ball. They never have to pay for that kind of break in their infrastructure, the way they carry out things, because good old responsible you is always there to just pick up the pieces and just be their net. Newsflash, that's not your job. Another mentality I had to change, I would be very much so, well, okay, the thought that would linger in my mind for way too long would be, I don't want them to think this, I don't want that person to feel this way, I would just put too much emphasis on how maybe me having boundaries in an area would make someone else feel or think about me. But what I have realized now is you cannot make anybody feel anything. You can't. You're not that powerful. I'm not that powerful. Literally, there's emotion and then there's feeling, which is feeling is assigning a meaning to an emotion. I'm not powerful enough, you're not powerful enough to control that for somebody else. They're going to decide how they feel based on their own perspective and their own internal process. So that has nothing to do with me. It has nothing to do with you. So that should free you up. Oh, here's a good quote by Havilah. She said, "We can't protect what matters most if we're busy protecting our reputation." Did that not just blow your mind? Because when I read it, it blew my mind. If I have to break my boundaries and break myself down in order to uphold this reputation, I'ma just say that I have the wrong reputation to uphold. Like, I'm upholding the wrong thing. I would much rather be seen as a kind person, a loving person, when my yes is yes, when my no is no, and having integrity. I think you can still have all of those good characteristics that you want to have without lowering your boundaries, you know? Yeah, so I think that's one of the shifts that I've had to make. Okay, so last but not least, as far as mentalities, was the difference between someone's like daily load and their burden, which, stay with me here because at first I was a little confused, but I think a part of me that like was hard with boundaries, a part of me that didn't really understand boundaries was because sometimes it's hard to see like how much you're supposed to do for someone as far as just life, because it's hard to draw like boundaries when you can't really distinguish like where to draw the line between you and another person, you know, like basically. And so she was talking about the difference between a person's load and their burden, which is kind of like, we all have like a daily load that we carry, which is going to be whatever your, you know, struggles are. It may be paying bills, it may be certain areas in your life, yada yada. Okay, we all have personal things that we're going to be continually working on and continually carrying. And then there's a burden, which is something basically above what another person can carry. Okay, so if you think of like rocks, because I'm very visual, so I'll be thinking of pictures. So like your daily load may be a few rocks that you have in your hand that you just carry around with you, that you're juggling, you're maintaining, that's what you carry. Versus a burden may be like a boulder, something that's like a boulder size, which is one person cannot carry this alone. That would be a burden. So what would be, you know, the thing to do is to help someone carry their burden, which is something that they cannot carry themselves. It's something that they cannot do themselves. That is when it makes sense for you to come, step in, and help them with that thing. Okay? Versus here you are carrying your responsibilities, your load with your couple of rocks, and then also being like, oh, I'll take this off your hand. Oh, even though you should be responsible to take care of this, I'll hold that for you. Even though this comes up every month, you know the due date, I'll carry this for you. So carrying someone's daily load along with yours is like putting more rocks in your stack for you to hold up. Like that doesn't make sense. That's something that's like a part of life that this person is going to kind of have to grapple with, and that's putting more weight on your shoulders than what you need to. So when I got that revelation as well, it did help me to think of boundaries as far as this is a good idea when to step in, and this is a good idea when it's not to step in. So that really helped me. So those are kind of the big mental shifts I got. And once again, so all of those came from reading this book, I Do Boundaries by Havilah Cunnington. So now on to the purpose, necessity of boundaries. Okay, I have always heard, even growing up, probably since around being a teenager, oh, you should have good boundaries, know what your boundaries are, blah blah blah. But, and I can agree, okay, yeah, they're probably necessary, but as far as making them for my life and setting them for me, I was lost. So the resource with Sarah Jakes Roberts, her sermon, Becoming and Boundaries, definitely helped me to know why boundaries are important and how to actually make them for myself. So one of the things that I thought was really good is she said to make an identity statement for who you will be. So this is not who you are now, but make an identity statement for who you will be. And then the boundaries that you want your identity to dwell inside of. So she said that building boundaries around an identity statement will help you know what you're trying to protect. I was like, well, if somebody would have told me to work backwards like that, it would make it a lot easier. So make an identity statement for who you will be, who you want to be. I want to be honest, I want to be healthy, I want to do this, whoever you see yourself that you're needing to be. And then making boundaries to protect that is going to look like, okay, well, I said I want to be healthy. Okay, well, my boundary is now I'm only going to eat out a couple times a week. Okay, I want to be more positive. Okay, my boundary is I'm not going to be around people who are always complaining. I'm not going to participate in gossip. Like, those are when you make boundaries. And side note, I heard one time this speaker, he said, your boundaries aren't working because they're really hints. Okay, and the difference between a hint and a boundary is this: hey, I don't like when you talk to me like this. That's a hint. It's soft. Versus a boundary, drawing a line in the sand, is, hey, if you talk to me like this, I am going to leave your presence and not talk to you until later. So just be stern with your boundaries, okay? Another little revelation, little nugget from Miss Sarah Jakes Roberts is, she said, it's not how much you give, it's how much you keep. So for those who I pointed out in the beginning of the video, the givers who always give, it's not about how much you give to someone, it's how much you keep for yourself. Because when you keep more for yourself, you can give out of abundance to people instead of like giving your last. And that is a word, is a word, is a word, is a word, is a word. Okay, with the boundaries that you make, you should be able to look at them and think, what will this boundary produce in me? Okay, so for resources, the book is I Do Boundaries by Havilah Cunningham. The sermon is Boundaries and Becoming by Sarah Jakes Roberts. And then the song, I know it sounds funny, I promise the song is actually clean. It's called R.I.P. Captain Save-A-Ho. And it's honestly a good song. It talks about just taking off your cape, stop trying to save everyone, and keep your peace. So the title is funny, but the bars are bars, the lyrics are lyrics, okay? So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's a little bit of the fruits of my labor. I just want to be able to kind of share with you guys some of the things that I'm learning on my journey and stuff. So if you have other good resources about boundaries, drop them down in the comments. If you learned something about boundaries that you want to share, leave them down in the comments, because I always be commenting back to you guys because I love speaking to you. So that is the video, and I will see y'all